on a Sunday morning. This is the one y'all was waiting for. I'm not waiting, I'm just making more. Plot it out, took the time, executed, good design, a finish line. Type of work, it's not done, just out of time. I'm feeling fine, long road, strong no, this a grind. This a climb for some of us, in and out, double dutch. Unpacking what they done to us, technology numbing us. Think about it, seen it coming up. Records broken, numbers running up. Competition having fun or what? 30 years coming up, haven't done enough. Prize dangling right in front of us. Better lies right up under us. How they burst the capital and run them up. Yeah, trying to raise capital for the month.
Chill. Y'all know the vibes. No Ordinary Podcast. Episode 15. We in here like swimwear. You dig? Appreciate y'all rocking with us. As y'all can see from the title today, doing a different topic. 5 most detrimental mistakes artists make before and during their rollout process. I'm liking this format, trying to bring you guys some informational content, some tips as far as artists, as far as getting things rolled out, what not to do and what to do when it comes to your releases. I had an interesting conversation with the artist of mine today. He actually has a project coming out, and we got on about a 2-3 hour long call and just kind of hashed out a lot of the things that we want to get done, a lot of the goals, and the conversation was real productive. So this cast is literally coming out of that conversation that we had, and hopefully, it'll be beneficial to others as well. But of course, as you always know, we're here to support Sonar Muse platform. We always gonna be playing some jams, some tunes coming from there, and of course, our main thing is to make sure that we're highlighting those artists. All the artists are being paid out real-time streaming royalties as the stream is ongoing. So that's the real reason why we're here, and we never want to lose sight of that. But yeah, I think the topic is interesting today. I think y'all will like it. We'll get into that. We won't hold you too long. Of course, before that, as we always do, we're going to get into some of the music straight from the Sonar Muse podcast. And then we'll be right back and we'll really get into our topic. So we're going to kick it off. Y'all know how we do it, man. Good for me.
Good for me, good for you, good for them, good for us. Being comfortable's not enough, gotta keep it going up. Good for me, good for us, thank me later. We always in the cut. Good news, people snooze, why can't they be more attentive? They brush it off like lint on denim. Can't really be offended, I've already ascended. I ain't above none of y'all, I just see life differently. The world needs love, I feel so much sympathy. Face the music like a symphony, less talking, more listening. Watch my aura glow, see it glistening. Focus on yourself and not what's happening around you, cause it's bullshit we've been fed. Look how quick bullshit spreads. Try to think with your head and look ahead. You ain't using your brain, you're just a walking dead. And that's the difference between me and them, homie, we ain't them. You say you're a goat, well I'm an average man. That means you're sacrificial. Your music fake, you're artificial. Your art ain't official. No substance, you're superficial. Hit me up when it's beneficial. Nah, homie, I prefer my own company and being on my lonely. That's just how it is. Me and my money chilling at the crib. Life is a test, unexpected quiz. Flow on faucet, watch it drip. Keep an eye on the prize. I'll never slip with any slight inconvenience. You jump ship whilst I take control of the cockpit. Cause I got the ball, I'll never drop it. Work my ass off, I'm overclocking. You're always with hoes like stockings. Good for you, homie, but that's not it. Good for me, homie, cause I got this. Good for me, good for you, good for them, good for us. Being comfortable's not enough, gotta keep it going up. Good for me, good for us, thank me later. We always in the cut. Good for me, good for you, good for them, good for us. Being comfortable's not enough, gotta keep it going up. Good for me, good for us, thank me later. We always in the cut.
Negative to positive is Swiss gear. The audio Marciano, the richer gear. I think it's the year. I just froze my tears, stuck my flow in the fountain of youth, and I just dipped my toe in the water. Accompanied by somebody's daughter. My shit is like a reporter. All the shit that we smoking and all the shit that they snorted. You told me she the one and she told me mission aborted. It's in my face, I gotta ignore it. I'm trying to score, but post game I feel like it's more. I'm more a fan of this couple watching it get pulled up. You the hardest in your circle, but only your circle notice. Forgotten why you recorded ego bigger than orbits. Ball and chain, my mind insane and my rhymes the same. I guess I got impeccable aim. Learn with the range, I need my space. Book all the time just for the face. I'm better than my favorite at the age when that shit mattered to me most. So I toasted a memory of me and what they meant to a nigga. I'm trying to paint a picture of me. The satisfaction with reality, I done found me the key. Yeah, I'm of a sturdy cloth, cut and tugged to stretching frustration. I'm in a dirty spot, I only knew a dirty cops. And every night I hit the store, they think we selling rocks. And I said somehow, some way, this shit gonna be alright. Even with me in the eyes of odds, I'm calmly eyeballing. You can swim to my island and have a Spalding on it.
Good for me, good for you, good for them, good for us. Being comfortable's not enough, gotta keep it going up. Good for me, good for us, thank me later. We always in the cut. Good for me, good for you, good for them, good for us. Being comfortable's not enough, gotta keep it going up. Good for me, good for us, thank me later. We always in the cut.
Chill. Just chill. Just chill.
That was fucking trippy.
Okay. True hustlers utilize grind. Take on every little chance you get our future into line, boy. Cause crypto season's on the rise. Better wake up and be a part of this, so hit that ass left behind, boy. Got me out here doing it for the fun, so one day we can be riding smooth in the Lamborghini Gallardo. Oh, and be everywhere like pronto. Cause we got places to be and people to see. They be on the grind mode. Trillionaire, THUGs, all on the scene. Also the queens, put in the work and be going hard as a team. We are chasing the dream. And you best to believe we are rising the cream. We keep doing that thing. The community demonstrates unity. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And we're not slowing down, my son. We going to the moon and it gon' be soon when we don't touch down, my son. Chill. With the diamond hands at my son. We gotta kick back, sit and relax till we get them gas, my son. That's what's up. If I wanna be a trillionaire, I'm gonna be a trillionaire, boy. If I wanna be a trillionaire, I'm gonna be a trillionaire, boy. If I wanna be a trillionaire, I'm gonna be a trillionaire, boy. If I wanna be a trillionaire, I'm gonna be a trillionaire. Let's go. Surrounded by go-getters, experts who talk business. The people who know the assignment, similar when it comes to the wish list. So we just gon' get up and get it. All the way to the bank, we be laughing. We coming and taking the number one spot on the market, and that's the motherfucking target. It really will push up the 4P. I'm not letting go for a long time. I'm here to grind for the community, so we can collaborate. Like minds that you concentrate. Hustle hard until we dominate. And even don't stop, we keep on grinding. Hey. We'll keep on climbing to the top. Trillionaire thugs gonna be the hottest on the block. And we are grinding for that spot. So we are doing the toast live in Dubai because we're popping. Hey. If I wanna be a trillionaire, I'm gonna be a trillionaire, boy. If I wanna be a trillionaire, I'm gonna be a trillionaire.
Yes, sir, skis. Yes, sir, skis. Y'all know the vibes, man. Of course. The main reason why we here is these tunes. That one's a bop. I'm really, like I said, just every time I'm going on the platform, I'm finding new songs, and as I continue the playlist, I'm definitely settling on some ones that are becoming staples, and I'm making sure I'm hearing every time. But we do have the randomizer on because I do like to make sure that we're hitting the whole playlist and that everybody's getting some playtime. Because I have my favorites. Y'all know a few of them. I won't name them, but I'll be back here vibing, man. I'll be back here jamming. But yeah, let's get into today's topic: 5 most detrimental mistakes artists make before and during the rollout of their new projects. So, like I said, this one is definitely kind of inspired by a conversation I had today with an artist that we're setting up a rollout plan for. I won't name the name yet. Hopefully, as we get closer, at some point he'll be a actual guest interview on the podcast, and then we can kind of recap and rehash this whole process together along with him. But we were just going through his thoughts. I was sharing with him basically how I've done rollouts in the past, how I'm focusing on rollouts now, and just trying to gather ideas. And the after we had the conversation, I was kind of just thinking about the things we talked about, and I think I came up with 5 solid things that I've not only heard from him, but I've heard from a lot of artists that I have these conversations with, and I think having this conversation with you guys could be beneficial, so that we're making sure we're not repeating some costly mistakes. But as you will see, what one person calls a mistake could be helpful. It could be something that actually adds to the rollout. So the big thing to remember is there is no necessarily right way, no wrong way. I think nowadays, especially when it comes to fans connecting, they like the genuine aspect, the authenticity of an artist, and I also, another thing I think they like is the transparency. So, I don't think it should be afraid of bringing them along within that journey of this whole process. So, like I said, hopefully that artist will join us, maybe, and we can talk about this process along the way. Um, but yeah, first topic we'll get into, um, and these are in no particular order except for the last one. I do think that the last one I put last for a reason, because I feel like it has kind of all encompassing aspect to it. So, but as far as the first four, they're in no order. But the first one is definitely one that came up very quickly within the context of the conversation we were having earlier today, and that one is not setting a completion date to actually have the artwork done. So we were having the conversation, and the first one of the first things that kind of came up was, well, I have certain songs that I like and I really like for the album, and then I have a couple that I'm still working on that I think could be on the album, and I also have another set that of ideas that I'm kind of working on. So one thing, firstly, very quickly we had to get to is, set a deadline. Set a deadline to have the tracks that you want on the album complete. Um, him having tracks that are already done, and then also having tracks uh, that he's still working on. The first question I asked were, okay, out of the songs that you're still working on, are any of those songs, do you feel like they have to be on the album? And his answer was yes. There's a couple that I'm working on, but I really feel like they're gonna need to be on the project. So my first thought to him was get those songs finished, set a deadline to finish those songs, because that's the first thing that you kind of need to have complete. Is you do need to have the art done, whatever that is, whether it's a song, piece of art, poetry, whatever you're doing, have that complete, um, and finalize. That's the first date you need to have, and if you don't have that, it's kind of hard to build a plan around it, because if you're one of those artists that never feels like it's good enough, or is always constantly coming up with a new idea, that itself can be a hindrance as far as getting the ball rolling and getting your rollout plan off to a successful start. Um, I'm the same way. I engineer my own music, which is another problem. So I can even have all of the songs done, but then I'll still want to tweak the mix. I'll get a mix and I think it could be better, and I want to tweak it again, and then I do it, and okay, I got this part right, but now this part doesn't sound right, and you know, I've always been told it's not good to mix your own music, so it's always something I've done, but it's always something that I understood the struggle of, because a lot of times when that's happening, you don't know how to tell yourself no, and you don't know how to tell yourself it's good enough, and that what you have is done is complete. So um, that's a very quick way to derail your promotion schedule, and it often even it risks the relevance of the project. It tends to shift. If you're continually adding on songs, if you're continually tweaking songs, a vision that you had at the beginning can quickly kind of turn into something totally different by the time that you get to the end of it. So and it's something that we see in mainstream all the time, right? You had examples like Frank Ocean with the Blonde album. He kept delaying it forever. I'll never forget. I was waiting on that album for a while, um, and he's a good example of where, honestly, I think it might have helped him out a little bit. It kind of added to the mystique. He already had a pretty established fan base. Um, his first album, I don't know if you remember it, but Lonnie Bullock's project, he released maybe 50 or something songs. So I think as a fan, we had enough songs to kind of listen to that made that wait not so bad, even though he kept delaying it out. But I definitely know that he had fans that probably fell off. Probably had some fans that kind of lost interest in it over time. Um, Another example would be Donda, more recently with Kanye West. I mean, he made what, two, three different versions of Donda. He kept saying it was going to come out, kept delaying it. He was tweaking it real time. Now he also did something that we're going to touch on in a little bit, but or in the next segment. He kind of tested his stuff real time. So he was having the live concerts and he was releasing versions of the song, seeing how the crowd would react to him, and then going back and either saying yay or nay, and kind of tweaking it from there. Um, I think Kanye is great at drumming up publicity. So for him, I think the way he did it necessarily might not have hurt him as well. It might have actually, helped him kind of keep the publicity alive for a little bit longer. But I definitely think some fans obviously probably kind of grew weary, and overall, I think when the project was released, there was a lot of fans that thought certain songs that he kind of previewed throughout the live tour aspect of it that should have been on the album that didn't make the album. So good, bad. I mean, like I said, it's more subjective than anything. And I would probably say the most famous example, right? Dr. Dre, Detox. Why is it the most famous example of not setting a completion date? It's because we still waiting on it. It has never been released, and he announced that in the early 2000s, right? And it's almost kind of like a myth, a legend, and kind of overshadowed all of his other projects. People don't even really talk about a lot of his music, but they know Detox. They know it never came out, and they know that there's a couple diehards that's still waiting on it. So, I mean, I'm not waiting on it. I know a lot of artists aren't anymore. So, set a deadline for your projects, and really you should be striving for consistency over the perfection aspect. You should be striving for completion and getting through the process, especially as a newer artist. If you are a newer artist who hasn't really released too many projects, you want to get into the habit of finishing the whole project and going through the whole rollout process, and learning how to make that efficient, and learning how to get better at that in itself. Um, so yeah, don't be worried about necessarily it sounding the best. Or I think at this point with technology, it doesn't take much to get to a baseline level of sounding pretty decent. And then if you do spend a little bit of money as far as mixing and mastering, then usually you'll be okay as far as the sound goes. So lock in the key songs that you really like for the project, get those done, and I would say that's the first big thing that you want to check off the list. And it's obviously one of the bigger mistakes I do see with a lot of artists. Number two, having a rollout plan, having a defined rollout plan. Not only having a defined rollout plan, but having a realistic rollout plan. My example to the artist when we're having the conversation of today was SKL, Seen Known Love, the artist that I mentioned on here, and our rollout process. And our rollout process is a little bit longer. SKL is a family man. He does have a family. He has obligations with that family that honestly and truly on brand come first. On first, everything that we're doing with him is family first and family oriented. So in his situation, that's one of the first conversations we had was, your wife needs to be on board, and we need to set realistic dates because you do have a family that you have to take care of around this project. So with him, our rollout plan is a little bit longer. It's a little bit extended, and it was very important for me to build in buffers to make sure that at every stage of the rollout we have adequate time, and that's not necessarily always on me or on him. Sometimes that necessary time is also allotted for the things that need to get done, such as the mix, the master, shooting the content, getting the content back, editing the content, actually having time to set up the rollout plan, and then things in between, such as booking shows and getting promo rollouts, talking with publicists, and getting everything set up. Even that takes a certain amount of time, and we just wanted to be very deliberate about making sure that when we set the release date for his project, that there was adequate time in between to complete every step, and also leaving time and buffer for the things that we can't control. We got lucky whenever we sent off the tracks to be mastered. The engineer actually told us, "Hey, my normal turnaround time is a week." But in our plan, we allotted for 2 to 4 weeks for a turnaround time. I think it's a good example because we sent the songs off to get mixed, and yes, the engineer had them back in a week. But after we got them back, there were certain revisions that we wanted to go back and have the engineer do a second round. So certain songs we wanted to tweak after we got the first mixes back. So that means we sent them off again. So once we sent off for the revisions, now we're waiting another week. We got them back. He still had a week turnaround time, but still now you're sitting at 2 weeks instead of what was 1 week an original turnaround time. So 1 week turns into 2 weeks. We get those back. They sounded great. And then we had a discussion about getting the instrumentals of the tracks. So after the second week, we emailed the engineer again and we request the instrumentals. This is another week turnaround time. So now you go from a 1 week turnaround to a 3 week turnaround. So this is one of those things that it is a great example, and it shows that, yes, you can have a great engineer that can promise you a turnaround time of a week, but even if they deliver on that, there still might be things that are unforeseen that are going to take more time. So 3 weeks to get back our tracks fully mixed, mastered, and the instrumentals. And we had a 2 to 4 week window. So it actually played out perfectly in that example. Another example is we went and shot content. And I think anybody who has ever shot any video content knows that, it's one thing to shoot the content. It's another thing getting the videos and the content back from the photographers or the person that shot the content. So if you don't know, we are located in Florida. And earlier this month, we did have a pretty large hurricane come through. And not to get too much into the details, but we shot the content in between two hurricanes. We had a large hurricane that came through, the one that did a lot of damage in North Carolina. But after that one passed, we shot the content, and then right after that, we had the one that came through and hit Florida. So interestingly enough, what was originally supposed to be, a 3-4 day turnaround to get the content that we shot back ended up turning into a week and a half process because there was a lot going on in between. So in the same vein, we had the same 2 to 4 week turnaround planned out. So yes, we got the content back within 3 weeks, but still, if we had not given that allotted time, and we only allotted enough time to have a 1 week turnaround, which it was originally supposed to be, we would be behind on our deadline. So those are just two examples that we kind of discussed and worked through today with the artists that are good examples of how you want to make sure that not only are you making sure that your dates and your rollout plan is defined as far as dates go, but also that you're allowing time for the delays that are seen and unseen. The larger parts of the rollout plan, definitely have to kind of include your time for creating the artwork, your time for creating the content, your time for marketing the content, and then making sure that you actually have an actual release schedule as far as when it comes to releasing the content and the art itself. Those things are going to be the most important thing when setting up this whole process. And for everyone, that's going to look different. For every artist, that's going to look different depending on the brand of the artist and depending on what the artist is trying to accomplish. And we'll get into that at the very end. That kind of goes into, like I was saying, which is the most part, the most important one that I want to put last. But yeah, that's number two. We want to create a proper timeline with the built-in buffers, including deadlines for production and marketing, and delays that could stem from those third parties, like distributors and artists and content creators. So those are two of the bigger mistakes right off the bat that I see. Right, not setting deadlines to have the art done, and then not having a defined plan when it comes to how the rollout is going to look in an overall fashion. Um, we'll get into what specifically that rollout kind of looks like maybe in another video. I think I kind of want to keep this one broader and just go over these 5 mistakes of the rollout plan. But I really think that in itself could be a whole podcast episode as far as a defined rollout plan. So that's something for a little bit later date. We got 3 more topics to go through, but before we do that, let's get back into a little bit of this music. We'll go back into Sonar Muse and play some of these jams, and then we'll come back at it. So thank you for rocking with us. No One There podcast, songs on a Sunday morning. You know the vibes. Yeah, we'll be right back.
What psychedelics? Party like a rock star in them psychedelics. Must the party like a rock star, the party like a rock star in them psychedelics. Reading this message I shouldn't have seen. Shipping only feeling they electric. Heartbeat racing, everything been hectic. Ain't a death race to be accepted. You won't see 3s, I don't see no 7s. Nearly afford to come in second. If I die, at least I'm gon' die a legend. Wonder if I can buy my way to heaven. Wonder if they ain't even let me get it. Some reason I got a feeling they got a checklist. How many you check? Are you ever gonna learn your lesson? Do you really need to carry weapons? In my city, they be stepping. Small town, so we carry that tension. This where dreams clash and reality can get put in perspective. I can see they true intention. Ready or not, better start your engine. Not my end. Get the hit at the end of the inning. And I'm going down swinging. Told you like I told my bitch. Doubled on day to let me hit it. Cody Cup, hit a picture so vivid. Fear in my heart, I ain't never been timid. I'm running wild, pushing the limit. I know I deal with 100%. I'm at late, that's the tip that I gave the intended. I must have partied like a rock star in them psychedelics. I must have partied like a rock star in them psychedelics. I must have partied like a rock star in them partied like a rock star in them. I must have partied like a rock star in them psychedelics. Shipping only feeling they electric. Heartbeat racing, everything been hectic. Ain't a death race to be accepted. You won't see 3s, I don't see no 7s. Nearly afford to come in second. The devil get in if you let him. I don't even sweat them. Cause I'm gifted. I'm cut from a different family. You can tell by the stitches. Watch how I flip this. I deserve the max for the K. I ain't talking about play for the Pistons. Ain't time talking ambition. Gotta be another way to end this. Do it like we did our friendship.
Yeah. Oh, I did miss you. I hope you're coping, baby. Cause my life ain't been the same since I left you. That burning flame in me till can relight my fire. Hoping, baby, that I get another chance to see your face. Ooh, that smile, those dimples, they always give me time and time again. Tyler, care for me, he want it when no one else is there for me. He want it, don't you ever think there's another, cause it's you. Who's my baby? Who do I call my lady? I said, don't you ever think there's another, cause it's you. Oh, more how far, show I need BTO. Oh, mommy, I didn't chase my dreams, though they may occupy my time. Me wallow loco. When you see me with them girls, oh, nipino, I only mess around with them because I miss you more than one. Though they may occupy my mind, they wallow loco me. Yo. How could anybody let go of a girl so beautiful? Well, I guess they say, come to go away. Now that you're gone, I'll be the only one. Emi nìkan out here having fun. Nígbà tó yẹ kí n lọlé kí n sinmi, baby. Mo ń ṣeré kiri. I don't know what came over me. Eré tí mo ń ṣe tí kò bá mi, babe. And I've been missing you. Things you do makes me know you miss me too. Ta ló care for me? Ìwọ ni. When no one else was there for me, don't you ever think there's another, 'cause it's you. Who's my baby? Who do I call my lady? Don't you ever think there's another, 'cause it's you. How far? Show I need BTO. Oh, mommy, I did chase my dreams, though they may occupy my time. Yeah, when you see me with them girls, oh, Nipino, I only mess around with them because I miss you more, no, though they may occupy my mind. Yo. See, you got me wondering, oh, I can't wear it, and I thought you were my teammate, or better yet, a cellmate, yeah. I should go my yeah. In other words, listen. Oh, more how far, show I need BTO. Oh, mommy, I chase my dreams, though they may occupy my time. We all no luck on when you see me with them girls, oh, ni bitter. I only mess around with them because I miss you. More no. Moro no, though they may occupy my mind, girl, you have my heart.
Hey man, say man, yes sir, skis. Hey, that's on auto rando, but that's three of my favorites right there. Right, you had Jansen Mud in My Cup. You had Saint MTE. That song right there, y'all already know how I feel about that. And then you had Check Bencaro on the first track. So yeah, man, we here. As always, Sunday morning, showing love to the Sonar Muse platform with some hot jams. But yeah, let's get back into our topic today. 5 most detrimental mistakes made before and during the rollout process for artists. Um, we went through the first two, right? Not setting a completion deadline for your artwork, for your art itself, sorry. Um, Number two, lack of a defined rollout plan and lack of time for external factors that you can't control within that plan. So on to number three. And I think this one is a well-known topic, but it's just kind of like a real life thing. People don't really like to talk about the money, but not setting a budget or not having a defined budget for your project. And this goes into something that we spoke on earlier, which is, getting through the complete process and then being able to take that process and duplicate it effectively and efficiently. Um, so setting a budget is what's going to help you get there, because if you just on the fly winging it and just throwing money into this thing, you going to quickly run out of money. Um, Unless you just doing it for fun and you just got an extra bankroll laying around. This is going to be one of the things that could be the biggest hindrances to you not being able to continually put out projects consistently and effectively. So number three, make sure you're setting your budgets. This includes promotion, production, miscellaneous merch, cover art, visuals, mixing, mastering, obviously ads. These are all things that we took a lot of time to kind of cover with the artists today. The first thing we kind of talked about was, where are you getting your production from? And, of course, like many artists today, the artist's answer was YouTube. Here nor there. Not my favorite answer, but at the same time, okay, if that is the case, the first thing you need to do is you need to get on YouTube and let's start leasing these beats that you're using. Because, there's a good chance out of 10, 15 songs, one of those beats that you're using might not be available for purchase anymore. So you might go to get the lease and the lease has been bought. Somebody's bought the exclusive rights to it and it's not even available. So now a track that you thought for sure was going to be on the album, you can't even get a lease or the rights to use. So make sure that if you are using YouTube beats, that you're going through and only using beats that can be leased and that you can get the leases to. And I would urge artists to, as soon as you make the song, you feel like it's a good song, spend the $20, the $40 on the lease. Get it locked in before somebody does come up and grabs the exclusive. At least you'll already have your lease in place that allows you to actually release the song. But it's a million ways to skin a cat. So, I'm not the biggest proponent of YouTube beats, but it's something to consider, because you don't want to have your best song on the album not available for lease when you go back after recording everything for 2 months just to find that somebody's bought the exclusive rights to it, right? But I think one thing about YouTube beats is that it does create an affordable avenue for artists to gain production and get production. I personally do release a lot of beats and instrumentals on YouTube. You can check out my YouTube channel, Katie of the NOC Beats. I have my releases up there. I do think it's a great venue and avenue to get music into the hands of artists. So I'm not knocking it at all, but take the time and spend a little bit of money to go get at least the basic leads to cover that for yourself. If you don't have the ability to record yourself, you're going to need money for studio time, right? Unfortunately, this artist does record themselves. There are a lot of even free tools out there to record yourself if you're not able to pay studio time, or if you don't want to put that into the budget. There's things like BandLab that you can get for free, GarageBand that you can get for free, and use those things to record yourself, and then send those takes off and get them mixed and mastered. And a lot of times these days you can get some pretty quality stuff out of that. But then that leads into mixing and mastering. The guy that we use for SKL, all transparency, he was $80 a track, mix and master. So we're doing a 7-track EP that comes out to $500-$600 off rip just to get a mix and master. SKL didn't have to pay for studio time because I was recording it. SKL didn't have to pay for instrumentals because he writes his own acoustic instrumentals. But even with that being said, we were able to create the tracks for absolutely free, and there's still a $600 overhead in order to get those tracks mixed and mastered. So having the final creation of that art still costs us $600. And I would behoove you to take the time, and at least if you're going to spend money into anything, spend money into that, into actually having good sounding quality music. But beyond the production of the music, right, you have visuals. So yes, we pay a cameraman to come out and shoot content. You might have to also pay that cameraman to edit the content. You might want to spend money on wardrobes, getting a couple fits, a couple of hats for the content. You might want a couple props within the content. These are all things that you can have in a budget. And that's just the production aspect of it. You're not even getting into promotions, right? Me and the artist briefly today touched on promotions, and basically my thought to him was, you're gonna have to, sorry, not production, we got into promotion, and my thoughts to him were, you're gonna have to spend money on promotion. Most artists today that are serious about their work and their craft are spending money on their promotion. They're buying ads, they're hiring influencers to collab with. They're spending money to get on playlists. They're taking some type of their budget and allocating it towards the promotion. And to me, right now, if you're not doing that, it's going to be very hard to cut through in a very saturated market of people who are putting money into promotion. If you don't know, one of my sponsors is IG Clout. It's a social media, Facebook and Google marketing company. I'm grateful for working with them because I've gotten a lot of insights in the ads. And just to give you a brief overview, we have, we charge a certain amount to run the ads. But on top of that, when you do run the ads, you're looking at about a minimum of $1,000 to $1,500 to run ads just to get back quality data from those ads to continue to optimize them in order to get the type of leads that you want. And we're talking at the small business level, people that are bringing in $500 to $1 million a year in revenue, but at the same time, right, that should kind of be the goal, right? So yeah, obviously you don't have to spend $1,500 a month in ads, but it would behoove you to maybe spend $50, $100 a month in Facebook, Google ads in order to reach a broader audience, because your artist cohorts are doing it. And their ads are going to pop up first before yours if you aren't running ads. Their music's going to pop up before yours if you are not running ads. And if you aren't running ads, your music better be that good. And I hope it is, but in the broader sense of giving this information, we're going to assume that it's good, but it's not necessarily at that level. So you should definitely be looking into allocating some of your budget into ads or influence or playlists, and get creative. Find a different way to kind of spend your money in promotion. There's all kind of things that you can do. Another more fulfilling way to promote, right, is merch. You can grab a t-shirt, use that t-shirt for your promotional tool, but at the same time sell that t-shirt and actually gain money back, right? Um, you can team up with the artist, a local artist, and have them design your cover art. Make it a collaborative effort. Now you have someone else that's promoting your cover art. Turn that cover art into a t-shirt and sell it. Um, all of these are ways that you should be allocating your money towards the promotion of your works. Um, but the biggest thing is um, having a plan to distribute money into this rollout. Make sure they, once again, align with the goals of the rollout, and then you can always tweak and adjust it, um, and make sure you're keeping some reserve funds for some unsuspected needs, right? But that's a big one, budget. A lot of people don't like to talk about money, but money is a major issue in Miami, right? Um, but let's go on to the fourth one, and the fourth one is definitely one that kind of ties into what we just talked about with ads, and um, one thing that I'm really trying to lean into more as far as my rollouts now, which is data, and using data and analytics within the rollout, and not ignoring the data and analytics within the rollout. Um, Nowadays, more than ever, we are in a data-driven environment, right? Data is gold. All companies at this time, they'll give you their product free as long as they can collect your data. And this is a big main strategy of SKL's rollout, especially at the beginning. Um, we're basically trying to build and garner a fan base from zero, from scratch. So a big data point of ours is emails. Our biggest campaign right now to gather data is through emails. We have an email list. We want to gather as many emails as possible. That way, that when we do market, we don't necessarily have to start out spending $1,500 a month to market. We'll have a set group of people already in place that we can market to: email campaigns, SMS campaigns, social media campaigns for free. Um, but all of this is part of collecting data. Um, the second part of collecting data, right, is once you get the data, making sure you're using it. Look at it, Um, when we talk about Facebook ads, a big thing that Facebook allows you to do is create a lookalike audience. So it's once you get enough data on the people that have engaged with your content, you can actually select the audience, what's called a lookalike audience, and Facebook will actually find other people that have a similar engagement tendency to the people that are already engaging with your work. So it takes your artists, your audience that you have right now, and looks for people that have similar interests to that audience to help expand your growth, right? That's taking the data that you have and using it. Um, Another way of taking data and using it would be during this rollout strategy, we want to release a certain amount of social media content. Um, and not to get too deep in the weeds, but we want to release a certain amount of songs, a certain amount of reels, types of different social media content. And we kind of want to take a month or so to be consistent, and then see which pieces of content are responded to the best, right? So maybe we're getting the best response on IG Reels. Maybe we're getting the best response on TikToks. Maybe we're getting the best response on YouTube. But seeing what people are engaging with most as far as the type of content we're putting out is are they engaging with the longer videos we're putting out, or are they engaging with the shorter videos that we're pushing out? Are they engaging with SKL wants to do some devotional pieces? Are they engaging with that more on the stories, or are they engaging with 30-second clip of one of the songs that we have? We want to put out 3 different songs and see which one gets the most engagement, and then we want to actually release the song that's getting the most engagement first. So these are all ways that you can collect data, and then you can actually use that data to actually tweak your rollout and to actually make your rollout more effective real time throughout the rollout. Um, So data is really crucial for understanding the audience behavior and adjusting your marketing strategies real time. Demographics, streaming patterns, engagement across social media platforms. Um, these are all instances where artists, can use the real time data and then tweak their marketing approach to make sure they're getting the most efficient, the most out of that budget that we just talked about, that marketing budget. Um, Use tools like Spotify, for artists, social media insights, and that data, and then you can refine your rollout and your promotional efforts around that. So to kind of wrap it up, we want to get into this last mistake, which is really not having clear goals aligned with today's landscape in music. Um, we can look at those other four things that we talked about, and you need to have, yes, uh, uh, a budget. You need to have data and analytics. You need to have a defined rollout plan, right? You can have all of those things in place, but if those things are not aligned with a clear goal, then all of that can kind of be for naught. Not only a clear goal, but a goal that's going to make sense in today's landscape. One thing that kind of came up towards the end of the conversation with the artist was, um, live performing. So he's actually an R&B artist, uh, but he does use, you know, beats and instrumental type backtracks. So when it comes to any artist, I always tell them, nowadays you're not gonna get the return on your money from streaming that you think you're gonna get. Even the top artists today are complaining about not getting the money they should be off of streaming. I think the big trending topic today and yesterday was actually, I can't remember the young lady's name, but there's a very popular pop star who came out and said basically, I'm making more money off of selling OnlyFans feet pics than she is off of her streaming royalties. She has thousands upon millions of listeners on Spotify, and she's making more money selling feet pics on OnlyFans. So, at this point, unless you're one of the A-list artists, you're not really seeing the money from streaming that you would like. And so I think artists have to keep this in mind. So I think being creative and how they're really going to monetize their music has to be at the forefront. And to me, that's where you have to have not only a clear goal, but make sure that that goal aligns with today's landscape. So our conversation today was about performing and how to leverage the performing to actually monetize all of these other aspects of his music. And basically the conversation was that if you're an artist, an R&B artist especially, and you're just walking into venues and you just have a backtrack, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get gigs than someone like a SKL who has a guitar, who's an acoustic guitarist, and who is actually playing a live instrument and going into venues. It's typically a lot easier to get him a live performance than it is just being an R&B or a hip hop artist that's walking in and playing over a backtrack. That's why you tend to see a lot of R&B and hip hop artists doing showcases, doing things that aren't really paying you, but more than likely you probably have to pay to be a part of. So um, that would be something that I say doesn't align with today's landscape in music. Um, and those are things that you have to think about, right? Every release, it has to be clear. You have to have well-defined goals. They need to be aligned with the current trends to really set yourself up for success. Um, so making sure that we're building a fan base, and yeah, you need streams. You need to drive streams, but more importantly, you need to be creating a brand and a universe and awareness for that brand around the artist. You need to be aiming at a specific uh, target audience. Getting on specific playlists for placements. Uh, you need to have streaming milestones in mind, uh, but then also understand that the payouts on those streams and what that looks like whenever you're allocating your budget, right? Um, if you are looking for those streaming type platforms, then you need to make sure you're considering the trends and the algorithms that are in preference today. So there's a lot of things when it goes into having a clear goal that's aligned in today's landscape. And you should always be analyzing today's music landscape and setting those goals accordingly. So, keep a realistic perspective, you know, and it'll help avoid burnout, and it'll keep you focused on exactly what you're trying to accomplish. If is your goal to be with a major label? Is it to get signed? Is it to stay indie? Is it to be able to tour? What exactly are you looking for out of music? What does that success kind of look like for you personally and individually? So, to recap, uh, you know, right? Number one, we want to make sure that you're setting a deadline to have your artwork created. You're not uh, constantly trying to make it better or add on songs or be a perfectionist. You're setting a set deadline to get things done. Number two, uh, you want to have a defined rollout plan, which, like I said, I feel like we'll probably revisit in another episode. Number three, you want to make sure you're setting a budget and you're allocating your funds properly in order to be able to duplicate this process for future projects. Sorry. Number four, you want to make sure that you're using data and analytics to help set up that rollout strategy. And then number five, you want to make sure that strategy has a clear goal that's aligned with today's landscape of music, right? Um, so the ones I would definitely highlight would be planning and budgeting, and then staying adaptable. Make sure that you're staying adaptable and you're being malleable to the data, seeing what the data says, and seeing how your budget is coming along, and making sure that you can change and be quick on your feet. So I would really I would say focus on those areas to improve your next release, and yeah. Um, Before we get out of here, I'll get into our sponsors as I always do at this time. Shout out to skinnybuddha.com, lifestyle brand out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Street art, artwork, music, blog, um, anything that's part of the culture, they're there forefront and they have their thumb on it. 96.7 WTEG, Tracks Entertainment, online radio. If you're a small business, if you're an artist that's looking for a larger reach, uh, then they're a great place. They're running a lot of specials for the holidays as far as airtime. And then last but not least, IG Clout, social media marketing company, uh, CRM. They're optimizing small business and making it efficient to run a small business, creating systems, workflows, and automations, utilizing AI technology in order to do so. So if you have any needs in those areas, the links will be down below in the description. Yeah, and y'all know where we at. Y'all know where we gonna be every week. Songs on a Sunday morning, 9 a.m. We really appreciate y'all rocking with us. And to close out the stream, as we always do, we're gonna go into some of these tunes. So I appreciate y'all being with me. And yeah, till next week. Stay silent, man. We'll see y'all. Peace.
I'm here to stack on the low. Get all this money, the dollars and gold. Getting some crypto, the markets don't close. She act like a stripper, removing her clothes. She wanna know more like I invested in Doge. But I invested in better things. Waiting for the rebel market. Them coins be helping me spread my wings. I walk while I talk, so you hear ka-ching. I don't spend my money on chains that go bling. I invest my money so more money it brings. I follow the money, to money I cling. Wrap it up. When it's time, the money I cash it up. Lego blocks, crypto, we be stacking up. Cross chain, blockchain, side chains. Major gains, major pains. You can call me Damon Wayne, stack for the family, forgetting the fame. Legend nanos, I'm making it rain. The dollar gon' crash, twin towers and planes. All about the nodes, a voice with some range. No rovers on Mars, I'll be driving the range. There's a lot that the public don't know. Life is a gamble, I hope you don't fold. Got all this info like a blockchain with nodes. I see the bigger picture, I ain't gotta pose. There's a lot that the public don't know. Life is a gamble, I hope you don't fold. Do what you want and don't do what you were told. What are you here for? The diamonds and the gold. The market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. 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 The dollar collapsed, the market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. The market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. The market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. The dollar collapsed, the market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. 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 The dollar collapsed, the market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. The market just crashed, the dollar collapsed. The market just crashed, the dollar collapsed, the dollar collapsed. Digital cash in the movement, digital dash, and I'm getting too lit. All my coins rose, no tulips. I snap on my prices, I'm really a nuisance. I'm getting smart rich, I'm going stupid. I got my eye on the prize, like your savior, I'm on the rise. Taking the coins that I put to the side. I conquer myself while the people divide. I conquer myself, I was looking inside. I had to level up when nobody tried. I'll be moving smart like a suit and a tie. The great reset just happened worldwide. I don't watch the news, they be telling us lies. I feel sorry for the people that complied. Damn.
In a world where they say men wear the pants, we all know it's the women who run the finance. Crypto money may be new, cause it's based on technology and what it can do. Us women excel in tech too, thought you knew.
Hidden figures, no Taraji. The blockchain got governed bodies. A women all over the globe. Cooking crypto, not over the stove. Kwame Brown said mama's cooking. A lot of mamas is Queen Shebas. It's women in crypto that single like ISO. 222 living they life though. Buying the dip is cheaper than Geico. Watch for lizards and snakes, reptilians. Processing the fraud, those are amphibians. Women in crypto, don't be an idiot. Icebox like too cold. Young boss, no Hugo. XRPL wizards, paving that yellow brick road. I'm making it bend with Becky. She always showing her gratitude. Activate your tip bot. You give them, it's gonna come back to you. On the ocean like longitude, latitude. Mess with them and you gonna get attitudes. XRP Jenna. All my crypto women is winners. In the universal writer's block, but I don't write though. That was a typo. I just seen an NFT. I really like though. My juices is flowing again. Hear that boy going, you know that it's him. Cut to our cookout, you know you need friends. Women in crypto, it's not a trend. Women in crypto, you know that it's them.
Technology and money combined is like a beautiful woman with a glass of red wine. These crypto streets ain't for the weak. Ladies with cold and hot wallets should be the conversation topics. We setting the trend of the next thing popping.
Jamie, Faith Art, XR paid out in St. Bart's. Beat Boot, XR Purr, what's the word? Moon Chaser 2020, all them coins, girl, they gon' envy. Beware of imposters clearly, shout out to Crypto Erie. X-Smokey Donuts and X-Bot got a wicked collabo. T from Smeckles, them out like Keckles. Victoria for XR Doge, whoa. Help me get my first clothes on the blockchain, that's for sure. Sherry U-Car, let's go get drinks at the U-Bar. I use my XRP, it's fast, I don't do that Bitcoin Cash. Mel P 2222, you got a girl with crypto, that's a money move. Willow P, NFT, Erie Princess, Miss Crypto Team. Whoa. A Miss Team Crypto. Whoa. XRP Queen, they got us from the get-go. Whoa. You can try to holler at them, it's lit, bro. Whoa. I'm talking about women in crypto.
We come from all over the world, repping our favorite blockchains. We making money with strangers, turned into friends over the internet. Forget the parties in the club. We want to meet up in a space call, talking about cryptos and NFTs though. Triangular trap tsunami.
Given the ism before even Genesis seems to be difference in sentences. Gentrification, project's tenements. How about a project protecting the innocent under the radar, avoiding detection? Where the Russians influence elections, discriminate voter suppression, aggressive border protection leads to another novel impression, especially individuals affected. Best to leave us sleeping giants. You could be defeated if you feel the need to really be defiant. You should be reading the fine print for the upload on your content and your palm prints. Before you don't think this nonsense, is you ready to deal with the consequence? All finessing, not a question. The soul richness and all possession intensifies, never obsolescence. We hardly decimate. They probably restless, spectators to dolly gestures and fine fabrics. So they polyesters, it's hardly justice. It's almost justified to not distress this injustice, but just because it's just under the radar, avoiding detection. Where the Russians influence